Good morning, Bill.
Good morning, Bill. How are you, sir?
Pretty good. I had some of the best sleep I've had in a while last night. I have no idea why, but feeling good.
Yeah, you seem refreshed, and I am dragging and not refreshed.
Yay! I
uh,
mean, I'm
yay! Yeah,
sorry.
yeah. No,
Yeah,
I just didn't get super great sleep, and my computer's loud. I don't know if you guys can hear it humming in the background yet, but
I
yeah,
can't just what you told me. It's doing the
yeah,
like one of those old your first vehicle trying to start it in a cold morning.
yes.
It'll go, but just barely.
That is true. Oh man, I feel like I'm lagging. I'm not super
Yeah, a little bit,
happy about it.
a little bit. That's all right though. We still got you.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So
Doing
Friday
some
morning,
stuff. Yeah.
September 2nd. September 2nd.
Oh God, man, you were on the September thing. You're all over it.
I mean, it goes so fast and everyone forgets it. And it's just like a lost month. So every day I feel like I got to get in there and be like, hey, y'all, it's September, y'all. It's a month, you know? So,
Yeah, I feel that. I feel that.
yeah.
Good morning, Michelle.
Hey, Michelle, good morning. Good to see you. How was your day yesterday?
Yesterday was good. I had a really good call with my a friend of mine, Kevin. He's the VP of Business Development for a SaaS company, and was talking to him about the new project that I'm working on, and got some insight and some, how's the market and all of that stuff. So that was a really good conversation. Sales Lab was good. I need to work on the lesson that I was teaching in there yesterday. It was about kind of going from smaller chunks into like a slightly larger chunk, so that way it's easier to kind of think through in the middle of the conversation.
Hmm.
I need some more reps about talking about that because we didn't get as much practice on as I would like. I had 2 lunch club calls yesterday.
Okay.
They were both okay, and then I had a call with my automations person. We, just kind of didn't really build any new automations or anything, but she was going through some client woes and things like that. So we were kind of talking about that, and yeah, that's it really. Nothing too crazy. Didn't go to the sales happy hour thing last night because I was just kind of wiped. So uh,
Yeah.
gamed and then did the dinner thing, and that was it. What about you?
Had my first like follow up client call, my second
Okay.
one. So it was good. It was really good. It was nice to see the amount of work that they had done between the calls and the improvement they had already made. I mean, I'm like you, but honestly, one of my favorite things to do is when I help someone see how far they get. You know,
Yeah.
that gauges to go. Okay, they were here, now they're here. This is amazing. I love this. So I had a
Yeah.
couple of yesterday, which were really cool. We had some more, sales documentation meetings and some things like that. But
Hmm.
standard Thursday for me. Maybe
Yeah.
that's why I'm cruising into Friday. Nothing too stressful going on, particularly this week.
I have a hot date this evening, which I'm excited about. Melissa and I
Yo,
are going to go out on a date for kind of like the first time in I don't know how long, right? It's
6 years.
like now. I mean, that's what it feels like. But yeah, we don't go out just as us a whole lot. And yeah, so we're going out to dinner this evening, which I'm excited about.
Very cool.
Yeah, and have a pretty full day other than that. So we're about to bring our guest on, and then I have lunch club. I have a call with a senior developer. I have a call with a team, and then I have a makeup coaching call. So that's what's on the calendar today.
Sweet man. More the same for me.
Yeah,
Let's get to the good stuff.
yeah. Let's get to the good stuff.
Yeah, yeah. So today we have a guest, and when you told me who it was, I haven't met him yet, although he's local. So I
He
look
is
forward
local.
to fixing that. But then also what he does is really interesting.
Yes,
So I'm just going to leave it at that because teases are a thing, right?
yes. That's
Okay.
what we hear.
So instead of me telling you, let's have Aaron tell you. Let's
Yeah.
bring him on. All right.
Yo,
Aaron.
what's up, guys?
What's up,
Yo,
man?
what's up, man? How are you?
I'm not an early bird. I'm not one of I'm not one of those 5 a.m. guys. I look like I need a pair of sunglasses because I have a lazy eye right now. But I'm like 4 espressos deep, and I'm like, hey, let's. I looked at the thing and I was like, where is he at? Because I work with a team on the West Coast, and so I saw 7:30 a.m. I was like, no, it's probably his calendar. And then he goes, oh yeah, I'm in Fort Worth too. And I was like, oh shit, okay.
Yeah.
Anyways, good morning, guys.
Good morning. How are you?
Good, man.
Man, so we have been chatting. This is weird. So we've been chatting. Obed got us connected and stuff. And so I was doing some research last night, and this is a weird thing to say. I didn't realize you worked for the company that you worked for, because I've actually used your product in the community. And so I was like, yeah. So I was like, okay, cool. Like, I'm gonna go do some research on the product, and like, because like I've been following your content, but I wanted to be able to talk about like your work stuff. And I was like, this is the company he worked. Oh my, and I just got so freaking excited. I'm in a community that uses Topia, and they've done some massive build outs around it. They do like networking events, and it's very, very, very cool. And I'm a huge gaming nerd, and it just makes me think about like old school like role playing games, and it's the hype of nerddom. Please just tell everybody what it does, because I'm doing a terrible job.
Yeah, no, I'm 3 months in, so I'm still. I mean, we're still in that phase where we are developing our message. I mean, when I'm the first marketing hire, the only real marketing hire. I report up to our head of distribution.
Mm-hmm.
So weirdly enough, always in my career, I've always had this like sales tie. So my last company, I oversaw 3 salespeople, but I was the director of demand gen. I started off in sales, but with Topia, Topia.io, we just redid our website for our messaging, because before it was a little bit ambiguous. You have first of all, the metaverse is just its own beast and kind of ambiguous place right now as we learn it. It's like Al Gore in 1992 talking about the internet.
Yeah, series of tubes.
And so now, making the statement that it's for business, but really it's a 2D metaverse platform. There's a lot of platforms out there, but what's unique about us is our customization. So we have a whole network of builders. We have a internal building team for enterprise clients, and the goal is to increase engagement and participation. When you go to a webinar nowadays, people are saying that it's an event. The chat box is really cool, right? But those informal moments is where you have conversations. If I can pull over Jake, I can pull over John and say, hey, come over with me to the booth over here, and let's have a talk, man. We go to, selfishly, and I think it should be selfishly, we go to conferences, back in the day, trade shows, not to just see the keynote speaker. We want to go have interactions for our own business. I mean, that's what it's about. And sometimes it's about just having a beer. Sometimes this is about just having fun. Sometimes you don't know what's coming. And I think that's what's really cool. I've interacted with most of my employees at my team. It's not a huge team, but I would say more than I did at my whole last 2 years at my previous company. So yeah, 2D browser-based metaverse platform, meaning you don't need VR goggles. You don't need crazy headsets. You can hop in with your desktop computer. And like John was saying, you can do anything from communities to events to, imagine taking your Slack channel, right? I'm a part of a Slack channel called Revenue Era. That's by Arthur and Nick Bennett. And imagine taking that and putting that into a world where you can actually have conversations, or go up to someone who you have been following their content for, years and giving them likes and comments. And now you can go have a conversation rather than just consuming. You're now connecting. And that's a really cool part of it. So I can geek out, because obviously we just did a full write-up on the website. So check it out. And I've got a piece of content I'll drop after this.
Nice.
On that. But yeah, I'm loving it, man. It's been awesome.
So I'm in this community, and they were like, hey, we're going to have our first kind of networking event. And it started as a Discord community. Now it's a Slack community. And so I was like, ooh, this is going to be very gimmicky. Like how are they going to do this well? Because they were doing like a speed dating kind of event. And I was like, this is going to be such a nightmare. Let's just go see how it works, And to my complete and utter surprise, it was very well thought out, because like there's like a range of like the screen sharing. And this is so cool because like you're walking around and you'll see another character. When you get close, both of your screens just kind of like pop up and starts like a video chat. And then when you walk away, it just kind of shuts it down automatically. And so if two people are talking over here, you can walk into it and then all of a sudden you're just in a screen share or screen chat kind of thing. And it blew my mind. I left and I was like, okay, like this completely resets my thinking about like online communities and what they're like capable of doing. I was completely dumbfounded. So, okay. So you just redid this website to work on the messaging thing, right? You're the only marketing hire inside of this organization. Can you talk a little bit about being the marketing, like the sole marketing person inside of a company? Like, is it, or like, are you not like fighting about things, or are you kind of like having to kind of, hey, this is what the audience, like our market wants to see, like versus like the stuff we want to make it about? Like, do you have to have those conversations and arguments? Like,
I'll be honest, man. It's been, and I'm not just here to. If you've seen my content,
I have seen your content. Yeah, you don't pull any punches.
there's no filter here. I'm, and it's probably funny because I'm usually 99% satirical, but it's just been, dude. The Dave Gearhart. If your CEO doesn't get marketing, my CEO has been such a kind of stay out of the way and what do you need type of CEO, and culture is really big when you're on a team of 23. So I love the fact that the culture was such a big part of it initially, and the trust from early on. My boss, who's head of distribution, who's in sales, we've just, there hasn't really been a fight. It's more like, hey, what do you need? And which is really refreshing coming from a 2,000 person org where you got to fight to get a meeting to talk about your idea. So not much of a fight, a lot of, hey, where do I pull from? Who's our, like, you're almost on an accelerated, like, keep the doors open / innovate. And, I'm a huge fan of learning on LinkedIn. I've learned everything through demand gen through LinkedIn. I've consumed so much content. I follow people. I test out tactics. I try to use that as my platform to test out my own tactics. And yeah, it's everybody's super talented and they all kind of get it, even though they may not get where I'm coming from. But yeah, our ICP's changed a couple times. I've been here almost 3 months, and that's natural. We've kind of gone from community to now we have which is a sneak peek for here, is a new analytics platform rolling out that's now listed on the site. And so it's not just about the superfluous, it's more about the outcomes. And that's what's really cool is to what's really cool part of this, why I wanted to come here, is to translate it into a business outcome message. Because it's like, yeah, cool. I talked to some guy and they had spatial technology where I walked up and we talked. But no, it's like, how was that for your business? Like, John, was that better than Slack? Because you just booked 3, morning bills that you could schedule for the next month. Like, that's for your business. So, how many conversations did you have? Okay, we can track that. How many connections did you have? How many chats were sent? So there's a whole layer that is just, I feel like it's such new ground because you start off with everybody's your ICP for Web3, right? Like everybody is eventually going to have an interactive layer, but who do you focus on that can use it right now? And so it's been really fun, but it's been really, the support is huge. And I came into the interview process with a vision. Like I spent some time, I had a video project as part of my hire on, and that really, like, for 3 days, I was just consuming. Okay, where can we go? Looking at competitors, stitched together a video, and was like, okay, I see where this is going. So,
yeah, man, because I'm a huge networker. I think it's one of the best like business activities you can dive into, but it can also be remarkably difficult to measure the outcomes of that. I was talking with someone the other day and they're like, hey man, who, I forget who this person was, but they were like, you made an introduction like 5 years ago that led to this, to this, to this, to this. And like, I'm finally getting the business about it. And I was like, man, that's so cool. And he was like, yeah, like, I was like, I don't need a thank you, like, or anything else like that. And he goes, no, I just wanted to come tell you because I had to sit down and figure out where did this whole thing came from, and it started with you. And so it can be very hard to track and know that you're actually doing it the right way, that's leading to like meetings and qualified meetings and so on, and new and all that stuff. But
Yeah.
We're going to have to figure out a way to do it well in a digital format, right? Because we can, so we just have to figure out the right way to do it. I'm can't freaking wait to see like what else you guys are going to do. And having the analytics, I of course, as a data nerd, was like, ooh, is rad, because like when you can say, hey, I spent an hour at this online event and I got these meetings and stuff like this from that. Now it's not a fight anymore. Now you can go track this stuff, right? And you can also track how much time your community manager was in the community, right? And stuff like that. So some really cool stuff around that, I think.
You're quantifying the qualitative. And I know it's weird. We're like going back to like 2007, going back to qualitative, right? Dark social and self-reported attribution and blah, 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 blah. But what's cool is you can gauge that now, and you can go back and you can say, hey, look, yeah, we have this podcast, but did you know that our Slack channel churned world, metaverse platform? We saw that piece of content that was ungated. We saw that people clicked and download for free without entering in any information, had 100 clicks, and there were 150 people who showed up. So we can also track media assets, which is really cool. So again, you're making this qualitative network. Like, what's cool about B2B is you guys freaking do a podcast, right? Imagine 6 years ago, we all probably would have had a collared shirt on. We all would have been in a corporate meeting room. Yeah. Oh, no. That's got some flair, though. You would have had that. What's the company, the Tuckless or whatever, where they Untucked or whatever.
Yeah.
But we all would have had that, and it would have been a fight to get a thing, and we'd be buttoned up. And here's my mission statement. And what's cool is that there's so much connection going on that people are getting roles to be community specialists, and their goal is to comment, their goal is to hop on podcasts, their goal is to do those things. And it's because it's just the way it's shifting, and it's cool to see the tech go with it. So
what's the uphill battle that you're fighting with Web3, particularly the metaverse? Because there's a huge novelty to it, right? Where people are like, oh, that's really cool. But like, there's got to be sticking power too, like where people are going to come back and they're going to invite their friends and things like that. So where are you seeing the biggest kind of pieces of friction points for you trying to just get new people involved with this?
Education. I mean, that's the first one. It's like, it's crazy because you look at campaigns in the past, go convert on a landing page, right? Go take them to a dedicated resource. Let's take it way back. Started off in performance media. You're doing a campaign about red shoes. You show an ad about red shoes. You go to a page where there's multitudes of red shoes. I got a 10 out of 10 quality score. Yeah. Now it's like, wow, our landing page is huge. Obviously, you need to be able to explain your features and functionalities and outcomes, right? Right. But we need to get people in. We need to get people to experience, like John had his qualms before he jumps in, right? Like, you don't know until you experience it. And then once you jump in there, it's a whole nother ball game, right? Like I did a post the other day where I have a mural board, right, at my office in the metaverse in our welcome world, where you can visit at topio.io/welcome. And you can leave a note for me there, a question, anything. I also have a video ask that's powered by Typeform integrated. And you can leave a video message in there and it'll automatically populate a video. And so, I had a couple people reach out to me, and a couple people that I really respect in the content game. And they're like, hey, I jumped in, but I can't get past this screen and I'm this. And I'm like, well, it's desktop. You're going to get the full capabilities. So it's kind of like, that was another learning lesson of like, all right, hey, make sure that it's not just mobile. Make sure that you're going in there with desktop. Obviously, we have the mobile capabilities, but you don't get the video. You just get the audio. And so, again, depending on your bandwidth, depending if you're on Wi-Fi, it's really like, it's educating, but you have to make it related to a business outcome, because that's what all we care about. You have a problem. It is. You have to. Like, I love interacting, but at the same time, I also love having a paycheck and love having,
Yeah, for sure.
and there is, when you get in there, you see the value of it. You see, again, like those things, but man, it's you got to get people in there. So we've kind of been setting up our capture, right? Like my first foray into this is setting up my house. Like I want to make sure that I know who's all coming in there. I want to make sure that we have a good workflow going, set up in our CRM system. I want to make sure that my team's aligned on what I'm trying to do. And then now we've kind of set up the site. We've got our messaging. We'll use that to proliferate and push out to our paid channels. But also the organic channels of me going out and being the hype man for the company. I know 3 years ago that would have been a fight. Talk about a fight. That would have been the hardest thing ever.
Yeah.
Instead, I'm like, hey, I have an idea for a video where I'm going to audition for podcasts because I've been playing around too much and sitting on my hands. Let's go. And so, like it's a whole different realm. But yeah, the education part is huge. I mean, they think it's just NFT. Like we did an event my first week, and it was around the DJ Blondish set. And so that's a whole different demographic, which can still be used as our demographic. But what we're finding is our enterprise clients and internal organizations that have 1,000 people, they're ready to
Try it.
get in contact with their people in Germany and not just have a CEO all hands where I'm reading off a script and
the fireside chat. He's got his sleeves rolled up. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like hey, I'm a real person. But it's more of like, hey, let's go have a breakout session and see if we even like what the message is. So it's just it's the education is huge.
Well, that's what I was going to say. Are you finding more of the more enterprise style businesses who know that they're looking for ways to interact and create more community and upgrade their culture and things like that? Because Stephanie's a coworker of mine, and she just said that last year for the Halloween party they used Topia.
Oh, nice.
For the Halloween event last year, and they, it was really cool. So, are you seeing as much of that as you are as new people coming on?
Yeah, we have a ton of self-serve. I mean, we kind of have two models that we're kind of working on for our routing right now, because the self-serve and for communities is so easy to sign up, and we're developing more and more resources. We're going to have, our knowledge base built into our world and embedded in our world. So if you have a question, our If Then series will be there to help. We're going to actually have a bot that is in world to help you out with those questions.
Cool.
Right.
Yeah. And so it's
our product.
It's almost like, I always think of it that it wasn't a very good movie. It was like a B-list movie. It was a guy from Memento, Time Machine, and he walks into a library year 3000.
Guy Pearce,
and the comedian is in the screen wall. Hi, how may I assist you?
I think it's Orlando Bloom.
Yeah, it was Orlando. Yeah, no, it was was it?
No, wait, Orlando Bloom is
no, that's
Legolas.
Parts of the Caribbean.
But it's Orlando something. It was the 7-Up guy for a while, or the Sprite guy.
Yeah. He was in Replacements. He was receiver. And so
if only we had the internet, we could look it up. It's crazy.
I know. I'm clunking over here. But no, yeah. So I guess I'm sorry, I lost the train of thought.
That was my fault. I derailed us completely.
Yeah, that did. The Orlando.
I love that movie, actually.
I do too. Yeah, it's underrated.
Yeah, Guy Pearce is a phenomenal actor, actually. Orlando Jones. Thank you, Stephanie.
There you go.
I can move on with my day now.
Yes.
So, okay, I have some questions. Jake and I are huge fans of sales and marketing working together, right? And you said that in your last role, you were kind of over some salespeople and stuff like that. How is Topia kind of aligning sales and marketing so that way you guys are working collaboratively and not just like against each other? How do you guys handle that?
Yeah, so my boss, Ewan Gillespie, is the head of distribution, and me and him are lock and step. So we are, whatever we're deploying, we're making sure that our messaging from an outbound perspective is together and concise in what we're trying to do inbound. But what we're finding is that these bigger enterprise clients, to go back to Jake now that it jogs my memory, is that inbound has been really beneficial. I mean, we're getting some companies who I can't yet say, but come in and maybe in the gaming world, maybe in some of these really big that everybody knows, and they're already product aware. They're already not platform aware necessarily, but they're platform shopping because they know that this is the next venture. So when you have time, I think as an organization and the money and the resources to have someone dedicated on transformation or someone dedicated to community or someone dedicated to technology, they're going to be, the ones that are already coming in 80% baked. And what they want to see is they've got a checklist of, hey, this is what I am going through right now, and I'm shopping vendors. Do you line up with this? What's the difference with this? And it's almost like you're getting a Q&A, right?
Mhm.
Rather than that, because we provide what the functionality is. They provide what they want to do with it, because ultimately these people they know the use case that they need to solve for. We're here to give them other use cases that have been performed by other enterprise companies. And so it's not really us. It's different from like my media background of saying, this is what you need to do. Yeah, it's conversions. It's no. Here's kind of our situation. Now, can you solve X? And I think once they get through their Q&A, then we can do an exploratory, hey, here's a couple ideas of how they used it. But there's so many different ways to use it. I mean, you could have a website. We have a really cool feature we just rolled out called webhooks. I can get notified every time that someone's in world. Talk about Chili Piper is amazing. We use Chili Piper, right?
Yeah,
And you
they're great.
Increasing your demo commits and your conversion rates by X%. Another creator I really like is Tim Davidson, and he has a case study with them right now. But now you can show up in world when someone's in world if they enter into the talk to sales. So imagine having that. People are like, I'm sick of this discovery call. I want a demo now, right? That's like the whole sales argument right now. Why do I have to have I've used you before in the past. Let's talk. Let's get going. So yeah, there's just so many use cases and so many integrations, and our product team's so great about our every 2-week sprint, we get something else that's changing the game. So
is the conversation when that you're having when it's demand gen versus when it's demand capture, it sounds like a lot of demand gen, not as much demand capture at this point, right? Because like you said,
yeah, we've set up the capture. That's what we've been doing, is setting up the capture.
Right.
Everything's tracked. We've got everything in one house. I'm a HubSpot, like ride or die.
Right.
And just love them. I love having everything in one place. But yeah, it's been mainly capture, and now it's going out and getting the demand.
Okay. So talk to me just real quick then about how that conversation differs. And you touched on it. You said a little bit media versus today.
Yeah.
Is it a much more educational conversation, even in like the discovery call?
100%. I mean, you've got to. I hate the feature dump. I like the outcome discussions of obviously just, again, I'm not in sales, but I've sat on so many sales calls, or, we've been strapped and I've had to take the sales call myself. So yeah, you're going through the education through the discovery, and it takes a few calls. I mean, and I know enterprise usually does. It's a team effort, especially if someone's looking to pay $75,000 monthly or stand up a pilot for 3 months. So it is a team effort on the sales side and on the buying side. So, excuse me, it is educational, but you have to get them in there. You've got to have something ready. So one thing we're working on right now is our demo process. We've got some really great creators, and you can create a basic world and a customized world right now. You can go in and have a pre-built template that we have. You can drag and drop, but we also have capabilities where you can have animations and where you can bring things to life. We have a really cool world coming up for Dr. Brian Boxer, who does Cap or No Cap on TikTok. He's releasing a book. He has a huge TikTok following. And that's probably my favorite world right now. But yeah, the demo process is also a huge focus of mine. And that's kind of in line with the content creation. The demo is just as important.
Man, I want to go build one for my community now, because I was looking at it last night, and I had seen it and I'd been in one, of course, I talked about that, but I was always thinking like, oh man, like maybe someday that would be cool to have. And then like looking at the site, like there's a free level of this thing, which was pretty
Yeah.
mind blowing to me, right? Like seeing what this one community had kind of built out into it. Uh, I'm curious, and you might not have attribution about this, but like how many people come back through the sales process because they got invited to an event on platform?
Oh, that was the number one when I came on. So
Mhm.
we've kind of shifted a little bit. We were really there to support people's events initially,
Mhm.
right? So you look at these big events that are going on, and it's always the speaker kind of brings the people, and that's
Sure.
just
Yeah.
that's what it is. Obviously, we still believe in a speaker-driven event, but we do events like Unconference, and so Unconference has been our most successful lead gen event.
Hmm.
You get people in there that are dedicated to communities that are in Fortune 50 companies, and they come back through the pipeline, whether that be, through companies like Dell, who we have merchandise on our site, or, different community specialists or product managers.
Mhm.
Hackathon, we had the Google Developers Hackathon in there too, which was really cool because
That is cool.
that's an amazing group of people and very, obviously the most product aware and space aware. If you want to talk about kind of where that is. But yeah, the events are huge. This is my first one. So I'm throwing out URLs. I'm throwing out all the self promotion here, but, we,
No, that's why you're here.
we've got,
Don't worry.
so we've got a new basically event series that we're going to be doing. And so you're right on the money. You've got to get people in the world. And how do you do that? Events, speakers, and exclusive content. And that's what we're really trying to change from just having a keynote speaker talk the entire time. We've got some sales power hours coming. We've got an unconference event coming up again.
Nice.
And what it's under is this, we put it under the guise of, it's called the third space. So the third space, if you guys are familiar with that, in the past, cities were built where you have a home and you have work, and then you have a space in between where you can congregate with a community, whether that's sitting at a park bench in a city square, right? When you're in Europe, you find more of these, but having that space to go and have those different interactions. So yeah, that's a big part of our demand gen. And if once we start our paid media, you'll notice that the goal is going to be getting people into the world, not getting people necessarily to the page, because we want to, you can inform yourself all day. You can always find the URL, but
Mhm.
once you enter an experience, now we have a more educated conversation. Now you're 20% farther down the pipeline.
I'm fascinated by the because I've been in sales for a long time, right? And I've had those sales coaches who've like just put it in their hands and they'll buy, and everything like that. And so in hearing you talk about like shortcutting the process so that way people get to experience it, like are you guys gonna have like a thing eventually to where you guys show up as like a Google ad, and when you click that thing, it just drops me into the world, like
Oh
you
yeah.
just bypass a landing page completely, and then all of a sudden I'm my little avatar just running around on the thing, and
You can jump right into that URL. I saw you guys drop. Thank you for that. The welcome world, you can drop right in. If you want to enter as a guest, we're also working on that. We have SSOs with LinkedIn, Facebook, Google. So if you're coming directly from a Google ad, I mean, you go in there, you sign in with Google. There's no reason to do that. Save it with whatever you're using, Dashlane, Google Save. And yeah, you drop right in the world. But again, until you point and click, until you walk around, and after the call, I'll give you guys a cool URL of a world we're working on.
Cool.
But yeah, a little exclusive content. But yeah, it's
works,
different.
y'all.
It's once you get in there, it's different. So I want to. That's my plan is education, and education by trial by fire. Get in there, figure out how to work your mic. I mean, I've never used this platform before. And now that I'm in it, I'm like, okay, here's the functionality. Here's how I could use it. I signed up for an account. Okay, here's my features. I mean, it's all available in World. So we're trying to bring as much information as possible, even pricing. You can sign up for plans in World. We're updating on our modal on our
That's
next
cool.
sprint. You can always find our change log on our product updates. That's one thing we can, if you guys want to talk about next, is kind of like first things that I always do is go for the low hanging fruit, and that's your current customers. And I said this the other day, but you want to get them something that they haven't gotten before. whether that's a personalized token in an email, right? Extrapolate their data from their last event and send it to them. How thankful would you be if you didn't have to log into your portal? If you say, hey, Jake, your last event, you had 25 unique connections. There was 50 people in the event, and there was 120 different conversations. And then you can look at that and be like, wow, was that due to my breakout rooms? Was that due to this? But you now see that intrigues you to say, wow, why am I not utilizing this platform more? Or you see a low number and you see, how do I fix that? You're like, well, I guess I didn't run an event last month. I guess my persistent space, because these spaces are always on, I'm not getting people in there enough. I'm not doing my one-on-one coaching sessions in there. So again, I think you're going to see that we've done kind of a guerrilla marketing play with a lot of people who have a following already. And we've been getting them spaces to explore and bring their communities. So I'll be hopping in there with a couple of these people, and you'll see over the next few weeks. But yeah, it's just it's a different way to connect. And this I love. I wouldn't change working from home from anything. But I would change the way that I interact with people, because I feel like reading text posts, and again, back to my satirical videos, it could seem like I'm bashing it, but really I'm such a fan of I'm just a fan of creating and humor and but also tying it back to marketing. So I really will watch content like, God, that's a great idea, And so, but then you watch sometimes and you're like, can we just be a little, we're there, but can we just make it a little better? Can we remove that BS and make it the way we see it? So no, I'm super excited to see where it goes.
Really, yeah.
So in your TikTok videos, right, there's a lot of, you're kind of talking about gated content versus non-gated content, like knowing who your web traffic is versus not having that attribution and things like that. And I'm curious, when you think about Topia specifically, right, this is tied to an account. It's tied to, kind of like a public facing thing. Whereas, like Slack is for business. And so everyone kind of shows up as themselves, and Discord is very anonymous and everything, right? You can be whoever you want and everything. So I'm curious, how do you, how do you think about that with the idea of like it seems like you don't want to gate all your content. You're an advocate for ungated content, but you're representing a platform that requires some sort of sign up to kind of get in there and use it very well, right? What are your thoughts on that?
So one, I feel like we do have product updates coming for guest features. Okay. And if you've already created a platform too, or created an account on our platform, you can come back. But the encryption of the community that's invited, that's all controlled by the admin. So if you want that, everything's encrypted. Everything is encrypted. My CTO, Chris Psyche, if he listens to this, he's probably like, hey, say this correctly. WebRTC and peer-to-peer. Everything is encrypted in there, right? So there's a level of sophistication there and being able to guard some of the content that's going back and forth. But as far as creating your information, that doesn't mean that you're going to get spammed with something, because I have no idea. You've got to be able to tailor your message and personalize your message. I'm not just putting you automatically into a workflow because you've created a world. I need some intent or buying signals. And just because you interacted with a piece of media, I didn't then ask for your email address to interact with that media. As part of a platform and something like this, you've got to have, especially if you're creating a world. So there's two differences. If you're just coming on as a guest, you can come on as a guest, right? That's going to be released. I actually have an email for product updates scripted up right now. We do that every 2 weeks for all of our users, so they can get the best use case out of all the functionality. But yeah, I'm a fan of give it away. It's all about, here's buzzwords, ready? 0-click content. And I follow the person who created that, but it's funny, as marketers, we create marketing terms for marketing practices, tactics. And it's because we all are in this personal brand mode, but it's listen to this idea. All right,
Yeah.
guys, it's a testimonial, but it's from a QR code. Okay, so what that's called is
Testimonial.
Yeah. And we've got Jake on. He's going to go 45 minutes and how it's different from the original one.
That's right. Q is before R in the alphabet. So
Yeah. There's 26 letters. There's 3 of us. We've got
and there's no vowels. So you're gonna get there if you're lucky.
We're gonna do a live session and create a QR code right now. Okay, pull up the mural board. But no,
let's go.
I'm also a fan of giving that away too. Obviously Topia Academy is also on the horizon of something that we have slated for just getting people all the content they need. It's not for us. We just want to show people how to throw the best events. We want to show people that a webinar to me is not an event, right? Like I love Goldcast and attending these really big events. And it's run like a production. That's what they highlight too. It's like a produced TV, like, the Dean Martin show or something where you're like, hey, you're live and you're on in 3, 2, 1, go. And the chat is always on fire. Yeah. But what if, again, you can take the conversation out of that chat and be like, hey, John, what did you think about that? I think that could be really beneficial for our business. Like, do you have thoughts on that? And we're in a private zone and no one else can enter. Mm-hmm. That's where it's adding that layer. It's like you can, right now too, when people are integrated into the CRM, it's like, oh yeah, we took the chat and we saw some really hot chat feeds. But what about the people that connected? They're going to come back again because they want a place that they can connect, not just for your speaker lineup. I mean, we're getting to a place where you have to have 20 speakers to get 2,000 to 4,000 people onto an event. But I believe at the heart of us, and I don't think it's a bad thing. I think it's an optimistic thing. We want to do what's right for our business. And I wouldn't go to trade shows only to pitch my product. I would go to trade shows to create a connection for Aaron Morrissey. And the older I get, the better I know that my personal brand is going to create security for me way longer than it is for me to go consume content that I could have done online. If there's no difference between seeing it live, like if people are seeing this live right now and then watching it later, if there's no difference, right? Like we have the chat here, which is already a difference. We can interact right now. You can go live. If you really had a question, come in, pop it in, and we'll get an answer to you. But you have to create those moments, or it is on the fly, because the pre-scripted stuff is it's dead to me. And if you're saying what everybody else is saying, you're not going to get your views. You're not going to stand out.
Yeah, man, this is such a good conversation. I'm not going to get anything done today. Like, I'm going to blow off all these calls. I'm going to
Stephanie is over here in Slack going, hey, I've already got a world made up. I'll put a calendar invite today. Come check out my world.
See,
it's like it's done.
You're up in minutes, and figure out what you can do with it. And again, that's the cool part. It's like you're not confined to our ideas. You're not. That's not what we're here to do. We're here to help you facilitate that. Obviously, there's different levels in our packages. Another thing we're working on, we did the homepage first, right? And now we're moving on to our pricing page. Integrations I've been finding from a lot of leaders that I follow, watching those metrics is so huge, but pricing pages too, especially when it comes to this technology. So again, it's just like, we've got to remove all those questions, and we're a slim team, right? Like we can only attend so many calls. I'm on marketing. You want to talk about sales? I attend sales calls right now. I mean, because we are getting a fair amount of inbound, if it's marketing related, I'm going to go have that talk and ideate how I would use it. Yeah. And there's going to be some really cool ways that we use in the future, but the webhooks, I'm telling you, you're going to start seeing that term, if I do a good enough job, floating around, because I know when someone goes and drops me a message in my Slack channel. I know when I get my, video watched in there on my Slack channel, and I know who it is, right? So it's not as intrusive of I'm over your shoulder going, hey, John, what are you doing in there? You having fun? But if you summon me, right? If you just bring out the summoning powers and get your Topi to meditate a little bit and levitate, you can say, oh, I want to talk to somebody. And it's like, that talk about zero moment of truth, and you just got a couple questions. It doesn't have to be a full on demo, but
Yeah.
you're like, hey, what's this follow feature about? Hey, what's this feature about? And it's education. I never knew that I was in so much in education until my content turned to my humor. Because everybody always knew, like, God, you're doing humor. And then my first couple of videos, I even did a live reaction on one of my first videos, and I was like this. Today, I'm jumping into the video game. And, I shot on a GX7 power shot. I had the full thing set up, and I would be in there for like 4 hours during COVID, and I'd be like, transition now, like clapping and stuff. And then now you bring out your phone, you put like a stripe on your thing, you're like, hey, this is how I got kicked out of B2B. And you're just like, what's the dumbest? If it makes me laugh, I'm doing it. If that's like my barometer. So like, it'll make other people laugh or I'll get banned. So it's either one thing. And what's funny is ever since I did the post that I just did about getting banned, which was obviously I was not banned. I had 2 posts go up, and they did not appear on my profile.
Really?
I swear to God, I'm not even. This is not
AI, man. It's dumb.
no, seriously. I don't know if they picked up the word banned or what, but I was like, oh shit! Like last night, I had one about content marketers that says I haven't created a piece of content since 2015. Here's how I did it. And so I laughed about it, and so I was like, this is a great post. I put it up. It's still not there. I'm like, what is going on?
That's interesting.
Yeah, in the Slack channel yesterday, John, somebody put up a viral post generator for LinkedIn, and I used it this morning, and it's so dumb, but I still laughed out loud. I was just like, yes, this is it. This is
if
good.
It makes you laugh. I'm not, and I love to talk about video. I don't know if that where the conversation wants to go, but video, man, that's like, there's a place for everybody's content. And like the more niche you are, and I say this, and this is where like, I'm being fully transparent this morning. This is where like either the inner hater in me comes out, or it's just me being, like it's like, oh man, why didn't that go? But then you realize if I connect with the 4 people that I was targeting versus I've made a Key and Peele post, I got 20,000 views and 1,000 likes, and I didn't get 1 follower from it. But then you create a piece of content that gets 16 likes and 21 comments, and then you get 15 new followers, and then you get another invite to go talk somewhere or do something like that. So it's like, it's such a weird, I call myself like the indie band. I want to be James Blake. I don't want to be
Coldplay.
I want to play the scientist. I have Bo Burnham playing in the back. He's a huge inspiration for my videos. I've copied him a couple times. Can't lie. But that's I feel like that niching down is so important. And mine probably has to change a little bit to the metaverse now too, from demand gen. But man, demand gen's also. Talk about interactive sites. Like that's another way to get people on your site and give them a great user experience. Is if you can do it right, it's better than a site. Right now, people are skimming home pages, but again, due to everything being out in the feed, and us, we all log on here every day. We all this is our part of our job, like it is, and you're constantly consuming to create. And so it's like, God, I didn't, 3/4 of the clicks aren't even leaving Google. So it's like, that's important. But what's going to be that reason that brings people back in? And to your point, maybe that is the way to get them back into an interactive space where it's like, I want to go have a chat, man. And I don't want to plan it. Like if I'm at work and I plan a 1-to-1 with Jason, like, first of all, if I'm a superior, what the hell's going on? It just says,
oh crap.
Right. And then he's going to be like, honey, leave the house now. But or you have those moments and you're face to face and you're just like, hey, this was great scheduling this. I know that this was fun. Instead, if you walk by someone, you're like, dude, what are you working on? I'm like, hey, can I ask you a quick question? And this is sometimes how you can get stuff done a little bit better, but you get a little quicker. I used to be in client partnership, so I'm a big fan of desk knocking, where you go up to hey guys. I just saw a prod went into production today, but I didn't see the release we talked about. Well, Well, we only had 40 points to roll it out, so you missed out. You were 2
Yeah, there were
points over.
16 changes and you were 15. We only got to
Yeah.
2.
So we'll see you in
Talk to you
6
in
months. But no, that's another way too.
Yeah.
Man, the other thing that I think is really, really cool that I would like to kind of just highlight to everybody is you're sitting in on these sales calls, right? Which I think is very, very interesting because the way that I think about it, right, is your salesperson, if they're tuned the right way, trained the right way, they can inform so much of the marketing improvement because they can ask great questions and things like that. And I love that you are going back and watching those calls, sitting in on those calls, because like the minute you want to go out and do a marketing survey, hey, you want a $25 gift card for like 2 minutes of your time, you're not getting the same level of quality and the feedback that you're getting because people are there for the gift card. They're not there to like,
I'm not,
they're not there to,
I'm not a fan of the gift cards. You know why? Because it's about the offer. I got one the other day and it just, I put on, my dad used to be a DJ in Omaha, Nebraska. And so
Omaha, Nebraska. That's rad.
That's where I originally from there. And he was,
are you a 311 fan?
Oh yeah. Are you kidding?
Oh man, we got to talk about that after the show.
We lost
311 was big. They went to Westside High School. I'm all in.
We'll geek out on that off air.
Right now, due to my lighting and my camera being dirty, amber is the color of my energy. So, like, but not
I ordered on Dad, but that was
again. That's Dad jokes.
Yeah. My daughter would roll her eyes and also be very excited that you're referencing her favorite song, like at the exact same time. Yeah.
I'm glad that my wife's out of earshot right now. But and when I get my jokes, I get out of there. We're talking about the DJ concept of I put on my voice. It's called the Puker Voice of, hey, I've got a $25 gift card. We worked with Amazon, Oracle, this. Hey, come get it today. Flailing inflatable fireman. And it's like, no, it's all about like break the format. Like Marlon Brando, I'm a huge movie buff. Marlon Brando was the best at breaking the format. He would either do two things to change the conversation, to get it off of him. He would point it back to a physical construct about the person. So he would talk to someone and you could tell he's nervous, right? And he would go, you know what? Why are your nails so long? Oh, my nails? I don't know why they're so long. I guess I play the bass and I've got to have this. And he's like, oh, that's interesting. And now the whole conversation has shifted and it's become less about huckstering a movie, but it's become more about the interaction and it's breaking the format. When you're having a video and you say, hey, look, I'm going to be right back. Oh, just kidding. All right, I'm here. Instead of, hi, I work at Arby's. We increased ROI by 14,000%.
I love your webinar voice. It's
no context available. Like it's just it's played out. The best practice lasts for a freaking month now. And you see it on outreach, you see it on post. And I just I don't care if that makes my campaign go better. Again, the freaking I don't know what it is in me, but I want to do something the opposite of that. And I want to highlight it. And the people that get the feature that I'm highlighting is the people that I want to jive with and I want to get on a call with and I want to be a part of. So it's almost like, hey, quit talking about qualifying prospects, disqualify them. And if they're not a part of that outbound game, that inbound game, and they're not meeting the threshold, it's okay to politely say, hey, unfortunately at this time, we're not taking meetings for this purpose. But here's the next event. And we also have lunch and learns and resources for you to pick it out.
Yes.
But, so
again, that's in scarcity.
Yeah. I know we have none left. Wait, I thought you guys were 20,000 people. We saw you're 20,001.
Yeah,
your metaverse. How are you out?
It's Web 3.5. You're in Web 3 version. Go ahead and download that Chrome extension, and
it's pixels to pixels in this online community. There's not even any standing space. It's crazy.
Yeah. Well.
Oh man. So we got to go here in a minute. Aaron, this was a blast, man. I might not get any work done. I might just go envelop like when will I be able to just like transport my consciousness into my Copia community?
Mark Zuckerberg, who failed miserably on Joe Rogan,
Yeah,
he might. No, I did a thing called Bloody Mary 3 times, and I said Mark Zuckerberg 3 times, and he shows up in the mirror. Because they always think metaverse, you know. And I
Mhm.
watched his demonstration the other day with the wrist churn or whatever, and you're gonna have goggles. And but yeah, we're working with Elon Musk right now. He's a dear friend of mine in Austin. No, I'm just kidding. I don't, you know, I will say there's a ton that is changing our product team. I got to shout them out. I mean, they make it so easy to be a hype man because, again, our 2-week sprint releases are so impactful, and the way that they move is insane. So they've just got it down. It was before we had a sales team, it was a product team alone. So like they have been holding down the fort, and this is their baby. And I've got to make sure that I'm taking care of that baby. And they're adding a feature every week. So yeah, there's going to be so much, you know. Follow the page, follow me, always be there to give updates and insights. But we have a resource center. We're going to be embedding that in World too for people who just want to create it for communities. But I would say that there's, and I always love the Scrum talks. I learned everything I know about like product teams from Silicon Valley. And I would be like probably Guilfoyle on the team. But and a mixture of what's his name, Zach Woods or Jared Watts. I can't remember his name. It's Jared in the show. But yeah, so there's a ton coming. There's a ton that needs to be explored. There's a ton of use cases, and yeah, I'm excited to keep showing those off.
Okay.
So is that welcome page where you send everybody?
Yeah, the welcome page, you can hop in, and again, you can sign in with your LinkedIn profile, sign in with your Google property. Once you're in and you're back, everything's saved, and you jump into your world. Go create a world, play around in a world. But if you want to go drop me a message, a video message, drop me a mural board message, questions, anything that you want, I'm going to try to answer those weekly in a video series.
Nice.
So just hop in with your desktop, put your audio video on. You can turn your video off if you just want to explore. No one's going to be obtrusive, but I'll end with this. Before I interviewed, here's how unique this is and kind of the capabilities that can happen. I was in the world trying to get some ideas of how, you know, what we could do with it. And I walked in and talked to my CEO, Daniel, and he was like, I go, hey, and I didn't know at the time that was Daniel, like, you know, just as his first name. And he's like, hey, you're interviewing today, aren't you? He's like, oh yeah. So blah, blah, blah. So I said, hey, let me get a couple of pointers. What do they usually ask? You know, just seeing if I could get something. And I got 2 questions. And, you know, 2 questions that I could answer. So again, the accessibility is just crazy. So I appreciate you guys, you know, having me on, and definitely want to stay connected and, you know, get your community a world and get that stood up and see how you guys like it, and help out in any way I can. And you'll definitely be on the invite list for the third space events that we have coming up.
Rad. Okay. So last question. Are you Dallas side or are you Fort Worth side?
Dallas side. And you know what? It's crazy. I would consider myself a pretty avid traveler. Get all over from.
Here it comes. Ready, Jake? Hold on. Here it comes. Go ahead. Go ahead and say it.
I've never been to Fort Worth.
Yeah, there it is.
I know. And I'm originally like a Battle Creek, Nebraska guy, so you would think there's like, and it's not that I don't want to go experience that. And Fort Worth is big.
Yeah, it's not small.
I said it wrong. I said Fort Worth. It's for worth it's worth.
It's worth. Yeah.
Fort Worth. Yeah. You know, it's like, but I know it's sad. I'm like, God, I think the only time I get close is at the airport. But
yeah, that's how it normally goes for Dallas people.
I know. We were like in this little pretentious bubble, and we suck. No, I'm just kidding.
Man, Aaron, thank you so much for coming on the show, man. I learned a lot, and I've experienced this platform firsthand. I still am blown away and very excited to go back into there and play with it some more and blow off all my calls and all that stuff. So, man, thank you for coming on the show. Very excited to get back in there and play with it. Okay. Do you guys have any? Well, maybe we should talk about this off air. But do you guys have any cool like marketing incentives that we can come back and talk about like after you launch? Like what like any new kind of pivots or new ideas or experiments you guys are going to be putting out in the
Oh
form of
yeah,
marketing?
I'll share live. I want as much feedback right now as possible. So yeah, we have. I mean, just the. I'll just say this: we're playing with a series on old versus new, and kind of we've taken our biggest objections, and I'm trying to create content around that. And so,
Nice.
listening in on
Okay.
those gong calls and listening on those sales calls, you'll notice that if you go to our homepage after this, that you'll see in our bullet points, those are our three main objections. So I wanted to add those in the hero so people knew right away, like boom, boom, boom. And so we collected those and counted through gong how many times we're getting those objections.
Yeah, that's
And
awesome.
so, yeah, so that's what we're trying to create a video series. It's like Mac, old versus new, Mac versus PC. You remember? And you had the guy with
Yeah.
I can't remember the comedian. He was big for a while, but another Orlando Jones moment. But
Yes, I know who you're talking about too. I can see him.
yeah, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? And so they had the split screen. And so we're working on some fun stuff like that. I saw Lavender threw out a new messaging campaign. I'm always a big fan of Winter. I actually have a spoof video on Winter if I can drop it right now, because I did a series called Do You Even Resonate, where I say I'm Pet Plaza, sorry. So if it doesn't get banned, I'm going to post it after this.
And just real quick, right? Because I love how you talk about your development as like a marketer and being in this world on your LinkedIn page, because you shout out the guys at Lavender, right? You talk about some of the people that you follow and stuff like that. And that was really cool because sometimes there's some, just like Dallas people don't go to Fort Worth, there's some marketing and sales kind of silos and stuff like that as well. So I just thought it was really cool that you were shouting out the people that you're learning from on the platform, and they're some of the same people that I look up to. We're trying to get the Lavender guys scheduled to come on the show, but they're doing a bunch of traveling right now. So, but yeah, I just thought that was very, very cool, and you mentioned them again. So I just think that's rad that you're all over the place.
If someone's doing it right, just don't put your ego aside and say they're freaking killing it. I mean, I've used their templates and my engagement rates go up. I've written countless sequences for my sales team, not because I wanted to micromanage, because they asked. So again, yeah, you've got to shout out the people that you got to dance with the date that brung you. I mean, that's you've got to be, I think, loyal, and you got to be shouting out. I'm not going to tag 20 people in a post. I said this the other day. I'm not going to compliment a prospect. No, I'm just kidding. But you know, that's a number one way to be like, oh God, this guy's fake. When I get in a conversation, if I love your product, 100% I will. That was a joke. But yeah, you got to shout out people. You know, I've also seen you jump on the TikTok game too. I believe I saw a couple of your videos. Like the creators that are doing it really well, I always shout those guys out, like Todd and Obaid. Those are like Travis. Those are my guys. I worked for a nobody company, and I just kind of watched. I got into Demand Gen because I watched people, and I was like, these people seem like they're having fun. And this guy's he's a digital content producer for his role. I want to have fun. And so I was like, I just used alchemy and was like, I'll jump into this. So anyways, I know we're running late, but I really appreciate the time and always ready to get back on. And when we have some stuff to release, and maybe we can jump in World Live next time.
That's what I was going to say. Next time we should all just get together and screen share and just talk through some stuff and have a good time.
Yeah, we stream through World. So we have stream integrations you can find on our page. Pretty much anything with Zapier you can do. We have an API system that we're building out where you can literally you can create assets and drop them in World by just a click through Airtable. We've got some really intuitive stuff. So next time we maybe can just stream through like Twitch, hop in the World, walk around and be like, hey, this is a combo. This is how this works, and do some fun stuff too.
That'd be rad. That'd be very, very, very cool. Awesome. Man, Aaron, thank you so much, dude. This is rad. I'm blown away. Very, very, very cool.
Yeah, this is fun.
Thanks for everybody. Mike Tao was dropping some heat in the comments. Thank you, Mr. Regular. Very, very, very good stuff. Thanks. So I guess you work with Stephanie, Jake. Is that what's happening there? Okay, cool.
Yeah, Stephanie. Thanks, Stephanie, for hopping by. She's a big advocate. Like I said, I'm gonna go check her out later today. Team Replay.
Michelle. Team Replay.
In there. Yeah,
Yes.
for Aaron, I'm sure he'll hop in here and answer them for you.
Yes.
Even better yet, go get Topia, and he'll answer them there for sure.
Yes, exactly. And tell them who sent you, so that way there's attribution.
That's
Oh
right.
my God.
No, they know. They know.
I've got a wedding to plan, so I need all attribution I can before I leave with some good news. So even
right.
if you did, if it doesn't matter if you're first click, last click, middle click, no click, give it to me. Okay.
All click attribution.
Yeah, all click data goes to me. You should see the report I worked up.
Awesome. All right, man. Bill, do you need anything today?
I think I'm good.
Awesome, man. Awesome.
Roll.
Awesome.
Awesome.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Thank
Have
you
a
so
great
much.
day.